I Have a Bad Feeling About This by Jeff Strand, Chapter 26. Gentlemen, said Mr. Grant over the megaphone, it appears that we have another special guest to introduce to you. It's me, said Jackie. Sorry. Henry, Randy, Eric, and Monica simultaneously let out a frustrated sigh. Well, said Randy, I for one kind of thought that was going to happen. Wish I'd said something. It's the same deal as last time, said Mr. Grant. Show yourself, or he dies, and this time I promise you that we are not bluffing. Does that mean they were bluffing the first time? Eric asked. Because I've got to say, I had that gun to my head, and I didn't get the feeling that anybody was bluffing. At least we weren't arrogant about what we thought was our victory, Henry said. That would make this sting a lot worse. Everybody let out another frustrated sigh. Here's what we got, said Monica. A few rifles without any ammunition. I've got a gun, Eric told her, holding up the gun he'd taken from Mr. Grant and making everybody flinch a bit. Thank God for the Second Amendment. I'm pretty sure the Second Amendment had nothing to do with the gun you stole from somebody who was trying to kill you, said Henry. Hey, this gun might save your life. I'm not saying it won't come in useful. I'm just saying that it being useful has nothing to do with a constitutional amendment. You swiped it from a gangster. I'm sure it's not a legally registered weapon. Henry wasn't sure why he felt the need to debate this. Had he been possessed by the spirit of Stu, and did this mean Stu was dead? These guys aren't actual gangsters, said Eric. Sure they are. No, they aren't. A gangster would be someone who... Eric trailed off. Okay, I don't know what specifically defines a gangster. I didn't think it was these guys, but I might be wrong. May I continue? Asked Monica, not using her most polite tone of voice. Yes, I'm sorry. You know what it was? I was thinking that gangsters wore those pinstripe suits. That was really stupid of me. I'm exhausted and stressed out from the whole gun in my face thing. Ignore me. Monica did. We've also got a bow and some arrows. That's perfect, said Randy. Henry's a master archer. Good, said Monica, handing Henry the bow. I'm kind of overrated, Henry admitted. Maybe you should take it. I've never shot a bow and arrow in my life. I'm only good with bludgeoning weapons. Okay, I'll take it, but I want it out in the open that I'm a complete archery fraud. I don't want anybody to think that I put Jackie's life in danger out of my own pride. Noted. We also have canteens, sticks. Why are these sticks in here? Matches, water for purification tablets. Nothing useful in a siege. Are there grenades? Rennie asked. No. Darn, I thought there'd be grenades. All right, said Henry. So this isn't as good as a machine gun or a pack of dynamite. That's fine. We're not the same wieners we were when we started Strongwood Survival Camp, and we're not afraid to go on the offensive. We're going to show those scumbags that they can kill the strongest of us, but they can't kill the weakest. Henry considered that for a split second. That's not at all what I meant to say, and right now I can't think of a better way to phrase it, so be inspired by what I meant instead of what I said. The others did not seem intensely motivated. We've been the underdogs long enough, said Henry. Everybody laughs at us. Maybe they don't laugh at Monica so much, and maybe not Eric. But Randy and I get laughed at all the time, and we're tired of it. That changes now. This is our moment. This is our time of redemption. And like all good times of redemption, there's a chance that we'll mess it up and need even more redemption when we're done. But I'm willing to take that risk. I think we can do this. And in the end, that's what life is all about. Carefully calculated risk. Let's do this. After some more brief discussion, everybody reluctantly decided that yes, they should probably do this. The warriors headed off into battle. Jackie had discovered that having a gun pointed at you made you blink a lot. It also made you ask the person to please not point the gun at you, although so far the man hadn't agreed to stop doing it. It wasn't as scary as being threatened by, say, a buzzing chainsaw, but Jackie's heart was racing, his legs were trembling, and he was crying a little bit. They sat inside the dining hall. Both of the men, a third was outside in Max's truck, seemed really unhappy, especially the one with weird facial hair. Jackie had thought that his own green hair was punk rock, but this guy looked like he'd actually ripped his facial hair right out. His face was even bleeding a little. Now that was hardcore. The other man, the one who was pointing the gun at him, had an extremely red face and kept massaging his forehead with his free hand. It had clearly been a very stressful day for these men. "You're not going to kill me, are you?" Jackie asked. "We very well might." "What did I do?" "You were in the wrong place at the wrong time, kid." Jackie nodded. "So it's not anything about me personally?" "Nope." "Okay, good." Jackie didn't want to die, period. But if it did happen, at least it wasn't because these guys didn't like him. Chad yelped as the wires shocked him for the 6th time, but his attitude brightened as the truck roared to life. "Bring the kid out," he shouted. "We're good to go." Mr. Grand, Ethan, and the green-haired kid hurried outside. They squeezed into the truck and slammed the door shut. "Where are you taking me?" asked the kid. "Someplace bad," said Mr. Grand with a grin. "Someplace very, very bad." Chad put the truck into reverse and they pulled out of the parking spot. Chad wasn't 100% sure which bad place Mr. Grand was talking about. However, he could think of at least 3 possibilities back at home. He was glad he wasn't that kid. Real glad. At the sound of the engine, Henry, Randy, Eric, and Monica picked up their pace. This couldn't be good. Well, it could be good if that was the police who'd mastered the art of teleportation, or had just happened to be doing a clarinet bust at the music camp. Or it could be good if Mr. Grant and his associates just said, "You know what? This whole kidnapping thing is quite a bother. Let's leave the youngsters here safe and sound and go on our merry way." But no, Henry could see Max's truck, and Jackie was in there with the bad guys. "I'm going to try and shoot out the tires," said Eric. No, said Monica. "They know how many shots you have, and they'll know if you run out. They can't know we're out of ammo. Save the bullets. Henry, you shoot the tires." There was no time for Henry to say, "What? Who? Me? But I already said that I'm not an adept archer. Somebody else should take on this enormous responsibility." This needed to be the most important arrow he'd shot in his life, and the fact that it was only arrow number 2 did not detract from the enormity of the task at hand. He grabbed the arrow that Monica held toward him, notched it, took not so careful because this truck was only about 50 feet away and there wasn't time aim, and launched the arrow. It sailed through the air straight and true. And then it continued to sail through the air right over the truck. "Shoot more of them! Shoot more of them!" said Monica, handing him another arrow. He notched it and shot. This time, the arrow struck the front hood of the truck, shattering it into 3 pieces on impact. The truck screeched to a halt, but then the moment of confusion apparently resolved, and tires squealed as the truck rocketed forward, the gas pedal to the floor. "Shoot more, said Monica. "Yeah, more, said Randy, agreeing with her. Henry notched another arrow. What he lacked in accuracy, he would make up with quantity. This arrow struck the windshield, creating a giant spiderweb pattern in the middle of the glass. He knew there was a chance that he was creating a horribly ironic moment. How sad that Henry slew the kid he was trying to protect. Pretty much sucked every bit of joy out of his accomplishment, but he had to go for it. He notched another arrow and tried to imagine that he was Katniss Everdeen from the Hunger Games. She wouldn't miss. Katniss wouldn't have any self-doubt. She would launch the arrow at her target, knowing that it would land exactly where she intended. Or maybe she did have self-doubt. Maybe she had to imagine herself as Robin Hood. That's what Henry would do. He'd imagine that he was Katniss imagining herself as Robin Hood. Or maybe William Tell. No, wait, he couldn't remember if William Tell had successfully shot the apple off his son's head or if it ended sadly. Whether it was winning a brutal competition in a dystopian society, robbing from the rich to give to the poor, or saving an emotionally needy green-haired kid from gangsters, they were all true heroes. Henry could feel the heroism of those who'd come before, even if they were made-up characters. Flowing through his veins, they guided his string-pulling back hand. They swiveled his eyeball to the exact right place to take perfect aim. There was total silence. Either Henry had achieved total concentration, or he'd suddenly gone deaf. He hoped it was total concentration. Henry Lampert released the arrow. The swish sounded like a heavenly choir, albeit a heavenly choir that sang in swishing sounds instead of beautiful voices. The arrow sailed through the air, slicing through trillions of air molecules, and then it struck the truck's tire. As with the targets before, Henry had been aiming for a different tire, but he didn't care. "I did it!" he cried out as the truck screeched to another halt. 500 points! Monica gave him a quizzical point. "Sorry," said Henry. "I almost got through the whole thing without thinking about it in video game terms." Shoot again! Shoot again! Henry notched another arrow and fired, puncturing the tire he'd been aiming for the first time. He was an archery master. He made Katniss and Robin Hood look like bumbling fools who didn't know which way the pointy end should go. The truck veered up off course, smashed into a tree, and stopped moving. Randy picked up a rifle. "Let's finish them off," he shouted. Before anybody could say, "What do you expect to do with a rifle that has no ammo?" Randy showed them that he expected to do with that rifle with no ammo. He flung the rifle at the truck, hitting and shattering the windshield, and then reached for another as the others joined in. Wilderness survival trip. If you run out of food on your camping trip, the cheat code is MHYM-213-66198-G.